For thousands of years, these hills produced the trademark tea of China. But in the famous fertile plantations of Pu'er, coffee is gaining ground as the brew of choice. In this mountainous part of Yunnan, we met the families who have broken with tradition and are now producing beans that are sold all over the world.
当然看到别人也在喝这一杯咖啡，我就觉得，哎，他可能也是在喝，刚好就是我的咖啡，所以呢，我就是非常的骄傲，也是非常的自豪，然后也非常的开心。
Tea is part of the fabric of this nation. It is produced and consumed with the love and respect of a long-established culture. The same principles and the same land are now behind the boom in coffee. I wanted to consider whether this tea-loving nation could really convert to cappuccinos. How better to start our search for answers than with a taste test? Li Fusheng prepares each cup with such precision to respect the hard work and months that have gone into producing his own coffee beans.
Very smooth, very good.
30 years ago, his father switched the family business from tea to coffee.
我奶奶他们那辈种茶叶，到我爸他们种咖啡，其实那时候大家都不知道这个东西能带来什么东西，对，能带来什么收益。然后我们家就开始尝试种，也是这个村子第一批种咖啡最早的一批咖农。
He is now in charge of their plantation, just a short drive from his house. There, he explained that red means ready.
它开始慢慢的成熟。
We see the various stages of the
它
colors
是整一
changing.
个慢慢的过程，
Yes,
对
it's，getting
越来
red.
越红，最后的一个呈现就是红色。
绿果慢慢的成熟，慢慢的积累更多的风味物质，它一个周期是很长，然后每年只有一个产季。
It was in Yunnan that coffee was first introduced to China by a French missionary in the late 1800s. But it was more than a century later that the industry took hold on a serious scale. Starbucks shook things up when it launched its first store in Beijing in 1999, at a time when Western influences on Chinese society were increasing. The market has grown so fast since then that this year Starbucks says it opened a new store every day. It is predicted that in the next 10 years, the Chinese coffee consumer market will be the biggest in the world.
The smell here is amazing. The coffee smells delicious.
We came to one of the oldest coffee plants in the country to learn how Yunnan's beans are processed and find out to what extent the cuppa preferences of the nation are changing.
越来越多的人喝咖啡，比如像我的女儿，他们这一代的学生，喝茶的已经很少了，大量的都是喝咖啡。
Xiao Dong told me he only started drinking coffee when he began working for the company in 1992. He explained why this part of China has proved so good for planting coffee as well as tea.
云南是一个自然环境非常适合于种咖啡的地方，它一个低纬度、高海拔，而且海拔的范围非常广。
98% of China's coffee comes from Yunnan, and the majority of it from Pu'er. Not only does the topography lend itself to growing the plants, it also adds to the unique taste.
我们云南的咖啡嘛，浓而不苦，然后呢，略带果酸了嘛，它是这个呢，就是说这个味道呢，它是不错的。比较长以后呢，它就说出来的咖啡呢，它的香气啊，它的果酸啊，它的醇厚度啊，都会有所改变的。
Jode is a quality grader with almost 40 years' experience. When he started out, he was told coffee should be fried.
第一次接触咖啡， 然后呢，师傅就教我，他说你去炒吧，他一起学着炒，一学着炒呢，一炒呢就是说那个火很大，然后就把那个咖啡就炒糊了。
Thankfully, the days of frying are over, and there is a burgeoning teaching industry on how to craft the perfect coffee. It is largely the younger, tech-savvy generation of Chinese millennials who are driving the change in drinking habits. Cafes in the big cities are where they socialise and sip on their specialty coffees. This homegrown chain has built its ethos on this status-seeking generation.
主要集中在白领，然后创意工作者以及一些自由职业者，并且你在上海也能够看到一个很有趣的现象，就是在早上，也就是我们的早餐时间，现在的中国人不仅会选择包子，或者说是油条、豆浆等等这种传统的中式早餐，像是有很多的消费者已经开始渐渐的习惯说早上喝一杯咖啡，带一个可颂去办公室，开始一天新的工作。
The middle-class city slickers who are now addicted to their daily caffeine fix are a world away from those we met at the start of this year's harvest. Mid-November is when the season starts for this team of pickers. They will be combing the hills for red berries for the next 5 months.
It's not quite a coffee revolution taking place here in the hills of Pu'er, but the passion and patriotism even that the people growing and picking these beans feel for what they're producing has generated a great excitement in the industry that's particularly high at this harvest time.
Tree by tree, acre by acre, these workers will gather tons of berries. The beans they contain will eventually become a coffee that could be served anywhere in the world.
心里蛮自豪的。我希望世界上所有的人都能喝到我们摘的咖啡。
So check your coffee for a Made in China label. The centuries-old tea trade has a rival to reckon with.